America, with some even fantasizing about executions and a second Holocaust. The Democrat Socialist of America helped deliver their fellow comrade, Zohran Mamdani, as the next mayor of New York City. But now they have some demands, starting with new policies about Israel. More illegal foreign nationals are caught driving commercial trucks. President Trump gets tough with air traffic controllers. And Marjorie Taylor Greene expresses frustration with President Trump for hosting the new Syrian dictator at the White House, while the U.S. economy continues to tank. All these stories and more as the Worldview Report begins right now.
This is Worldview Report with host Brandon House. Whether it is news from the nation's capital or your state capital, from the classroom to the boardroom, from national security to national and local news that impacts you and your family, Worldview Report is your trusted source for vital and uncensored news. And now, here is Brandon House.
Good evening, and welcome to the Worldview Report. I'm Brandon House. Leading off tonight, as the world marked the 87th anniversary of the Nazis' Kristall Nacht, known as the Night of the Broken Glass, Holocaust survivors are warning that the levels of anti-Semitism in the post-October 7th era are comparable to the pre-Holocaust Jew hatred in 1938. All Israel News has posted an article that reports on this global trend of increasing Jew hatred. They cited several elderly Jews who lived through Hitler's Holocaust, and they helped them get a feel for how it felt then versus now. The 100-year-old Holocaust survivor, Walter Bingham, he warned in a recent interview with the Associated Press, quote, "We live in an era equivalent to 1938, where synagogues are burned and people in the street are attacked," end quote. He was 14 years old when the Nazi mobs plundered and destroyed Jewish shops and synagogues in Germany and Austria during the Night of the Broken Glass. The Nazis, they set fire to more than 1,400 synagogues, and they vandalized 7,500 Jewish businesses. Some 30,000 Jewish men were arrested and sent to concentration camps. Bingham was saved through the Kindertransport Rescue Mission from Germany to England in the 1930s. But he was separated from his parents, who perished during the Holocaust. He stated, quote, "Anti-Semitism, I don't think will ever fully disappear because it's the panacea for all ills of the world," end quote. The article goes on to say that despite the similarities between contemporary Jew hatred and anti-Semitism in the 1930s, there are also significant differences. Bingham said, quote, "In those days, the Jewish mentality was apologetic. Please don't do anything to me. I won't do anything to you." That's what he explained. But he said the emergence of the Jewish state has dramatically changed the power dynamic, giving Jewish people confidence that they won't face something like the Holocaust again. Here's what he said, quote, "Today, we have, thank God, the state of Israel, a very strong state. And whereas anti-Semitism is still on the increase, one thing that will not happen would be a Holocaust, because the state will see to it that doesn't happen," end quote. Daniel Greenfield reports in an article at jihadwatch.org that a group of Muslim teens are spreading hatred against Jews and viciously attacking them online. Milo Sarat, the 19-year-old son of a noted Iranian-American poet, he raged online about how he wanted to carry out mass execution of Jews. He says he wanted to run over people at a pro-Israel demonstration in Montclair, New Jersey. That's according to a complaint filed by the U.S. Attorney's Office in New Jersey that was unsealed last Thursday. According to those court documents, Sarat said, quote, "I can't wait for the day I get to execute like 10 Yahud," end quote, using what investigators say is an Arabic term for Jewish people. He went on to write, quote, "Line up like 500 Jews and execute them in front of their wives and family. Then take all their wives as slaves." Ima have like 10 Yahud slave girls, inshallah, end quote. That last word, inshallah, is the Arabic term for God willing. Greenfield asked this question, quote, where would he have gotten that idea? The Quran. Milo was literally repeating what Muhammad did, end quote. During a direct message exchange in January, authorities said that Surratt made comments like, quote, filthy rat Jews need to be eliminated, end quote, and quote, I'm the biggest anti-Semite in America, end quote. Well, a few months later, he followed that up with the proclamation that, quote, everyone hates the Jews now, end quote, and quote, I hope a second Holocaust happens to them, end quote. Last November, Surratt allegedly expressed to a friend that he feared his mother might somehow stumble upon his hateful messages and said he tipped his hand by telling her that her Jewish friends deserve to die. He also claimed his mother's Jewish friends were brainwashing her into being a Zionist and said he was going to, quote, stab them with my sword, end quote. Surratt's father, Roger, is an award-winning Iranian-American poet and a professor at Queens College in New York City. College Fix reports that Moody Bible Institute, an evangelical Protestant college in Illinois, filed a lawsuit Tuesday alleging the Chicago public school system is discriminating against its student teachers because of its Christian mission. Alliance Defending Freedom attorney Jeremiah Clawless stated in a news release, quote, Chicago desperately needs more teachers to fill hundreds of vacancies, but public school administrators are putting personal agendas ahead of the needs of families, end quote. According to the college's lawyers, the Chicago Board of Education and Chicago Public Schools refuse to employ student teachers from Moody's elementary education program. The reason is the district's non-discrimination policy. ADF News release states that fact. Following the policy would mean that Moody must abandon, quote, its religiously based hiring practices, end quote. That's according to the news release. Previously, the Christian college asked the school district to amend the policy and recognize, quote, its rights as a religious institution, end quote. But Chicago Public Schools refused, again, according to the press release. Well, this amounts, of course, to religious discrimination. So said their attorney, Gallus. Quote, by excluding Moody from its religious beliefs, Chicago Public Schools is illegally injecting itself into a religious nonprofit's hiring practices, which the Constitution and state laws expressly forbid, end quote. Just the News reports that the Democrat Socialists of America helped deliver their fellow comrade to the New York City office of mayor, Zohran Mamdani. As we know, he won last Tuesday. Now, the Democrat Socialists of America, well, they have some demands, and he's starting his policies when it comes to Israel. He is, of course, a self-described socialist, and he is going to be there at the nerve center of capitalism, the nerve center of capitalism for America and the world. In fact, Just the News has obtained internal plans from the DSA dealing on how the organization's New York City branch intends to pressure the new mayor into injecting extreme anti-Israel policies into the management and life of the Big Red Apple. Now I call it the Big Red Apple. Mamdani, of course, we know he's been a long time DSA member and leader, and he is indeed listed as one of the group's 9 New York State socialists that's, well, already in office. And now he's going to go to the big office in New York City. The DSA, of course, helped him win. Not just the mayor's office, but they helped him win the Democrat primary back in June. And he was running and trying to distance himself a little bit from the DSA's socialist and revolutionary platform to a degree. In fact, that's something that, according to Politico, the New York City branch of the socialist group gave him public cover to do. In fact, a website called New York Socialist in Office says that it is a group of, quote, DSA-endorsed elected officials that works together in the New York State legislature to advance a socialist vision for working class people across our state, end quote. The website, well, it names Mamdani as one of their own. And now a recently unearthed clip from 2023 shows Mamdani telling the DSA at their national conference, I quote, "When the boot of the NYPD is on your neck, it has been laced by the IDF," end quote. So now he doesn't have to pretend anymore. He doesn't have to distance himself. He can fully embrace his anti-Israel, Islamic, cultural jihadist worldview. That's what I believe. And I think that's what he's going to do. I think he'll also make many in the DSA very happy. And I don't think they're going to have to distance themselves from him at all now that he has won. The Center Square reports that ICE has conducted another highway operation targeting dangerous drivers. This time it took place in Oklahoma in cooperation with the Oklahoma Department of Public Safety. They arrested 70 foreign nationals driving on interstate highways in the state. In 2 days, they arrested drivers from 15 countries, all in the U.S., illegally. The majority, they had driver's licenses in violation of federal law and, of course, of Oklahoma state law. During this operation known as Operation Guardian, ICE and state highway patrol officers working with ICE, they arrested illegal foreign nationals driving semi-trucks, again, all in violation of state commercial driver's license laws and federal immigration law. And the governor of Oklahoma, Kevin Stitt, he said the following in a statement, quote, "Operation Guardian continues to successfully keep Oklahomans safe. To lawfully operate a commercial motor vehicle in Oklahoma, you must be here legally, and you must be able to understand English. These are common sense standards that we will continue to enforce," end quote. Overall, ICE said 36 of those arrested had been convicted of violent crimes. 34 were found to be violating state law, operating a semi-truck or commercial vehicle while in the U.S. illegally. Among them, only 26 had CDLs. In fact, many of the CDLs, they were issued in the Democrat-led states of, you can pretty much guess, right? California, Illinois, New Jersey, and New York. 8 arrested. They were driving commercial motor vehicles without a CDL at all. In the operation, well, it was the second within a few weeks. And it was, of course, targeting those illegal drivers on interstate highways in that state of Oklahoma. So good for them. In fact, a previous operation, it was conducted along Interstate I-40, and that led to the arrest of, ready for it, 120 illegal foreign nationals. We'll be right back after this break. Do you appreciate all the free programming we produce here at Worldview Tube? Well, if you do, we need your partnership now. If you're already supporting us, thank you. If you're not, would you please consider doing so? We have to have a big November and December end of the year giving. Please go here right now to this website, worldviewfoundation.com, worldviewfoundation.com. You can give through credit card. You can give through PayPal. You'll find our mailing address there if you prefer to support us through the mail. You'll also find our phone number. Simply use that phone number by leaving a voicemail for Melissa or texting her, and my wife will get back with you and help you make your contribution over the phone. We send out tax receipts with our EIN number, well, the first week of February of each year. We, again, have to have a very big November and December as we get ready for pushing out more Christian worldview programming for 2026. So thank you for going now to worldviewfoundation.com. That's worldviewfoundation.com. Welcome back from the break, and thank you, as always, for your support. Hey, don't forget about us in your end-of-the-year giving. It's vital. We have a big November and December in our end-of-the-year giving, so thank you for going now to worldviewfoundation.com, worldviewfoundation.com, making a contribution of any size. Never underestimate that a $5, $10 contribution doesn't make a difference. It does when added to the contributions of others. We are looking for more regular monthly contributors, so thank you for considering doing so at worldviewfoundation.com. You'll also find our mailing address there if you prefer to support us through the mail. Hey, would you like to leave a testimonial on our testimonial line that we could play during our upcoming December 4 and 5 International Worldview Weekend? That's a Thursday and Friday. We'd love to play a testimonial by you where you tell us about what our network and our programming means to you. How maybe it's impacted your spouse, your children, yourself. We'd love to hear a testimonial like that and then play it back during our broadcast and our 2-day broadcast, December 4 and 5. Our international online Worldview Weekend, Thursday and Friday, December 4 and 5. You can leave that voicemail at 901-468-9357, 901-468-9357. Thank you for doing that. President Trump on Monday ordered air traffic controllers to return to work immediately or face a pay cut. In an angry post to Truth Social, President Trump declared, quote, all air traffic controllers must get back to work now. Anyone who doesn't will be substantially docked. For those air traffic controllers who were great patriots and did not take any time off for the Democrat shutdown hoax, I will be recommending a bonus of $10,000 per person for distinguished service to our country. For those that did nothing but complain and took time off, even though everyone knew they would be paid in full shortly into the future, I am not happy with you, end quote. And the scolding, it did not end there. He continued, quote, you didn't step up to help the USA against the fake Democrat attack that was only meant to hurt our country. You will have a negative mark, at least in my mind, against your record. If you want to leave service in the near future, please do not hesitate to do so. With no payment or severance of any kind, you will be quickly replaced by true patriots who will do a better job on the brand new state-of-the-art equipment, the best in the world, that we are in the process of ordering, end quote. President Trump's remarks, well, they came as Republicans and Democrats reached an initial deal to end the ongoing government shutdown. In fact, the lapse in funding, it led to a number of air traffic delays and travel disruptions and, well, many, many backups at the airport. But let's pray it all gets settled for the holidays, right? Slate News reports that Canada's federal government is quietly moving forward with a national digital ID system, slipping the plan into the depths of its 2025 budget, where almost no one, of course, would notice. On page 490, though, of this huge document, the Liberal Party, they propose, quote, to modernize legislative authorities to support information sharing and digital services, end quote, within the Department of Employment and Social Development. Well, that bland language, it's really just masking what will be sweeping changes toward a centralized digital identification. The plan, it begins with what is seemingly a limited pilot program, digital IDs, for people applying for employment insurance at old age security. But the budget, it makes clear that the ultimate goal is to fully integrate identity system linking multiple benefit programs under a single government-controlled profile. In fact, the budget document claims that, quote, this modernization would benefit all Canadians, end quote. And then it continues by promising, quote, efficient and convenient government services, end quote. And supposedly helping, quote, seniors, newcomers, persons with disabilities, and rural residents, end quote. But of course, critics, they're warning that governments always pitch digital IDs as a matter of efficiency and convenience and for safety. Only later does the government expand it into a centralized tool for actually surveilling you, controlling you. And that's going to happen once the system gets fully built out. Canada, well, they have floated the idea of digital IDs for some time. But then they retreated because, see, the public found out about what was really at the heart of the matter, the agenda. And many people had some serious privacy concerns. But Slate News, they're noting now that this time the rollout that Canada is doing, they're doing it much quieter, kind of a narrow basis, if you will. And it's being framed as modernizing benefits, modernizing the delivery system for the benefits, instead of actually erecting a national ID regime. But behind the scenes, the architecture, well, it's taking shape. And digital ID systems, well, they're consolidating everything. They're consolidating your banking details, your biometric data, your health records, and any government history they have on you. It's all dumped into a single connected digital wallet. One breach, well, exposes everything about you. And the centralized gatekeepers, they have control over it all. So let's see if Canada stands up against this again and delays it. Now it's time for our nightly Worldview Report commentary. Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene on Monday expressed frustration with President Trump for hosting Syrian President al-Shara at the White House, amid, of course, the ongoing persecution of the Syrian Christians. With the help of intel agencies from various foreign governments, the U.S., including al-Shara, well, they triumphed in the Syrian civil war earlier this year. He ousted Assad, and the government, well, they seized Damascus. And al-Shara's group, HTS for short, well, it's an offshoot of al-Qaeda and also ISIS. And Marjorie Taylor Greene, she said this, quote, "The new leader of Syria is a former al-Qaeda terrorist wanted by our government who is meeting with President Trump today at the White House on the U.S. Marines' 250th anniversary." He rose to power in December of 2024. Sanctions were lifted off Syria in June, and many Christians and minority groups have been killed before and after sanctions were lifted, end quote. And then she added this, quote, "Syria is the oldest home of Christianity outside of Israel. The Apostle Paul met Jesus on the road to Damascus. I pray the persecution ends, not only in Syria, but all around the world," end quote. Well, Christians, they were generally supportive of the Assad government during the Civil War. And the HTS victory, well, it saw widespread attacks on Christian communities in various regions of Syria, no doubt about it. In fact, Congresswoman Greene further expressed her frustration with the White House and, well, is really a recent string of foreign meetings. Here's what she said, quote, "I would really like to see nonstop meetings at the White House on domestic policy, not foreign policy and foreign countries' leaders," end quote. Well, she has a point. There seems to be an awful lot of attention being focused on foreign policy and not much on solving America's economic problems. And then when the White House rolls out as a solution a 50-year mortgage, well, that went over like a lead balloon. And then they say that inflation has been brought under control, that ship has been righted. Again, that didn't go over well on social media. Well, now Marjorie Taylor Greene, we all know she's been a big supporter of President Trump, but something has changed in the last few months. She's not happy, and many of the MAGA base members aren't either. But she's issuing a warning to President Trump, and I think he'd be smart to pay attention to what she's advising. Because if he continues to gaslight his base, well, he's going to end up losing many of them. And the result will be catastrophic. Catastrophic losses in the 2026 midterms. And then, of course, there's 2028, which many presidents see as, after 2 terms, the continuation of their administration and legacy. The bloodbath that we saw last week in the elections, that should not be ignored. I know people say, well, that was blue states, blue cities. Well, we lost a governorship in Virginia that was a Republican. We need more action in solving our domestic economic issues. I think there's talk about a 50-year mortgage, and I'm even hearing talk of a 50-year car loan. All that's got to stop. It's not the answer to anything. And it sends the wrong message. What do you think? That does it for this edition of the Worldview Report. As always, we thank you for tuning in and supporting the broadcast at worldviewfoundation.com, worldviewfoundation.com. Do you appreciate this program? Do you appreciate the fact we push it out every night free of charge? It takes a big team of us to put it together, and it's not inexpensive to put together a broadcast like this. So thank you for your support if you want it to continue. worldviewfoundation.com. You'll also find our mailing address there, as I say, if you'd like to support us through the mail. So next time, I'm Brandon House. May God save America. Take care.
true beauty isn't applied. It's nourished from within. Bella Grace Elixir, a luxurious, scientifically crafted blend designed to restore radiance, vitality, and strength at a cellular level. At the heart of Bella Grace Elixir lies cat's claw, a powerful herb from the Amazon known for its ability to control inflammation and protect collagen. With Verisol collagen peptides, it goes beyond the surface, stimulating your body's natural collagen production to reduce fine lines, improve skin elasticity, and promote real, visible change. Bella Grace Elixir doesn't stop at collagen. It includes astaxanthin, one of nature's most powerful antioxidants. 6,000 times stronger than vitamin C, astaxanthin protects your skin from harmful UV rays and environmental stress, while locking in hydration and promoting a radiant, youthful glow. Experience the power of nature with Bella Grace Elixir at melissahousebg.com. Discover the science behind Bella Grace Elixir at melissahousebg.com. Read powerful testimonials from doctors and real customers who've experienced life-changing results, and explore other wellness products from Bella Grace. Bella Grace Elixir is more than just a product. It's a solution. Visit melissahousebg.com today.